So I figured I'd do a quick video on updating the nav system in the Hyundai Kona. This is something that I didn't even know was possible until it just kind of one day occurred to me, hey, instead of using Android Auto, let me use the onboard navigation system, which is not great, but I just kind of wanted to get a little more familiar with it. So I looked up online and found how to update the system. Hyundai allows you to do it with a program you can download on your computer. You put the update on a little flash drive, and then you just plug it in. And then you go into your settings, you go to your software version, and then you just click update. It recognizes the program already on the SD card. It requires a 64 gigabyte SD card. And then it just starts updating. So far, the process has had literally zero hiccups. It's been perfectly simple. I'm very surprised and actually quite pleased that Hyundai does this. They allow you to update your own car. Now, you could take it to a dealership and have it updated there. I don't know if they would charge you anything, but I'd just kind of rather do it myself if I can. It saves me from having to drive up to a dealership, and it's free. Now, if you don't have a 64 gigabyte SD card with either a USB adapter, which is what I'm using right now, or you can use an actual just 64 gigabyte USB drive, then you can actually pay Hyundai 25 bucks. They will put the update on a flash drive and just mail you it. And then you just plug it in your car. So that's kind of cool. For $25, you can update the nav system. You can get other updates as well through here, not just the nav system, but I just specifically wanted to update the nav system. I believe my car already has a recent update from the dealership. And of course, I say recent, it's like maybe 2 years ago, but I'd be a little surprised if there's already newer software out for this car. Maybe there is. I don't know. I guess if this goes well, I'll probably check to see if there's other software available. But yeah, it was super easy, super simple. It does take a good while. Some people say that the update can take several hours. The car gave me an estimate of 25 minutes. And I think a lot of that could depend on the drive you're using. This SD card here, though you can barely see it, it's quite small. That's a Samsung Evo series SD card. It is a very fast SD card. So I would imagine that probably helps this download a lot faster than using, let's say, a old, USB 1.0 or 2.0 64 gigabyte USB drive. So I imagine using a slower one would probably slow things down. If you have some sort of class 10 high-speed drive that does, 100 megabytes a second or more, then I'm sure you'll be fine. It's actually, as you can see, it's going pretty smooth. One of the big issues I have with the onboard navigation is that, you put your route in. Let's say you want to cancel it. Well, there's no button on the screen just to cancel your route. There's only a pause button. So you can pause it, but then it constantly wants to resume it at some point, and it's incredibly frustrating. Well, turns out buried in a different menu, you can find a cancel route button, but that is incredibly not user-friendly. I mean, imagine if there was no back button, there was no home button, there was no nothing like that. That's just not user-friendly. Apparently, if you hold down the button that says pause route, if you hold it down for 3 seconds, it automatically will cancel it. And then if the button says close route, you hold that down for 3 seconds and it'll automatically pause it. I didn't know that was a thing until I looked that up and found that out. But I want to say that they kind of fixed that and they got rid of the pause button and replaced it with a cancel route option. So I really hope I get that one because that is one of the biggest gripes I have with this navigation system is it's just not intuitive to use. It's not easy to use. It works. It navigates perfectly fine. It plans routes in a reasonable amount of time. And I the few times I have used it, I've never had an issue where it didn't know how to get to where I needed to go. But it didn't always know which lane to be in and things like that. But again, I'm running a 2019 or 2020 version of this software because this is a 2020 model year, so it probably has the 2019 update. Hyundai updates the maps twice a year. I think once in October and once in, I don't remember the month actually. It might have been like April maybe. I don't remember. I remember one being in October, which is similar to how Garmin does it. If you've ever used Garmin navigation systems before, they generally give out an update that you can get, twice every year. So, and for all I know, this could just be some sort of, overlay or GUI ecosystem that they have over some basic Garmin or some other system. I don't know if Hyundai made their own native system or if they just went to a company and said, hey, you have navigation software, how about we just buy it from you? And then they just put their own skin on it to make it look like it was theirs. So, on a completely unrelated side note, that's a little voltage gauge I have down there. Just tells me what the 12-volt battery voltage is at. It's flashing right now at 14.9. So if it's at 14.8, it won't flash. If it's 14.9 or higher, it'll flash. At 14.9 volts on the battery is a little odd, and I don't know why this Kona does that sometimes. But I know there's some people that complain about the batteries in these things, the 12-volt battery, dying pretty frequently. I almost kind of wonder, are these cars overcharging their batteries? Because the voltage generally runs pretty high on this car, and it's not like it demands a lot of 12-volt current. So, well, we just got to a restart. Oh, well, this is new. Guest, start update. But I already updated. Oh, okay. I guess it's a good thing I didn't click anything now. Well, the colors on the screen changed to like a darker blue and different kind of I don't know what to call it, patterns, I guess, on the screen. Like it just did not look the same. So I wonder if possibly I didn't just update the navigation system. Maybe I did put the whole update on that drive. I don't know. It was like 48 gigabytes. Was the update, mind you. That's a decent size update, by the way. 48 gigabyte. I mean, that's why they say you need a 64 gigabyte USB drive. That one I'm actually using is a 256 gigabyte because that's just what I had lying around. Keep in mind, if you use something too large, like a 1 terabyte SD card, or maybe even a 512, it might not work because sometimes the USB readers don't read larger cards. So if you have an incompatibility issue and you're using like a very high capacity USB drive, that could be why it might not be reading it. Or what can also happen is you can have like these cheap USB drives you can get on Amazon. They might claim to be 64 gigabytes. In reality, they might be like 8 gigabytes. But there's very simple software tricks they can do to fool your computer into making the computer think that the drive really is 64 gigabytes or whatever they said it was. So always buy a reputable brand of memory. If you're buying SD cards, USB drives, whatever it is, make sure you're buying a brand that you know is a reliable brand, but then also buy from a seller that you know is actually selling the genuine product and not some, rip-off of that product. Alrighty, it's been maybe another 10 minutes or so, and the screen's changed, and now we have little lines to watch hop up and down. So, yep, guess it just has to go through multiple different cycles of the screen saying that it's doing different updates and things of that nature. Well, to give you guys an update, it's been probably at least 30 minutes by now, and it's still going, so I guess the people saying that this could take like up to 3 hours, that probably is correct. That kind of surprised me how fast the first one went, but this one's definitely taking its time. Well, it's finally done. Took about, I'd say about 50 minutes. I guess we can go to details maybe. And map has been updated. Cool deal. Let's go back. Blue Link experience includes more accurate navigation. Just go later. And oh my goodness. Okay. Wow, I really should have taken a picture of the previous way this system looked. I mean, I do have videos on my channel of the previous way it looked. That's crazy. It looks so different now. It's really dim though. The screen's like super dim. Let's see. Let's just hit setup. Display. Auto brightness. I guess auto brightness might not be a bad thing. Oh, that's a little better. Let's turn off this interior lighting. And does it... I'm going to use the toggle for the display there. It does not affect it. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, that's new. So the toggle to dim the lights as well as the dash does not affect this now. It's like it's on its own thing. Okay, interesting. Let's go back. Oh, it's getting warm in here, goodness. Oh, wow, that looks different too. Everything looks so different. Okay, this is very interesting. Blue light filter, is it off? I do like it on just a little bit. Automatic, okay. Extended, okay. So a lot of the settings here are, I would assume, basically the same. Although this almost looks like an Android system. Look, there's a map. It shows you the map. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay, I'm going to have to play around with this and just figure it out and see what is all new. I mean, wow, this really did get an update. Whoop, that's not what I wanted. I do miss the tiles, though, and maybe guest is currently logged on to change a different profile. Oh, well, I guess I need to make a profile for me. Very interesting, very interesting. Okay, I apparently have a lot to learn now. I got to learn a new system. And, oh, look, Hyundai Pay. They've literally included a pay portal in your car. Well, that's great. But yeah, definitely have to figure out... Oh, there's a valet mode, really? Oh. Well, that's new. Subscription required. That doesn't surprise me. Well, I guess to finish out this video, just real quick. Yep, the update worked. The map locations worked. The software is entirely different. Most of the functionality is the same. It looks way different though. This is your home screen. You get a little tiny map there. You get your time, and if you're playing music, you'll see the name of the song and whatnot. And that's it. You don't get anything else. Mainly, I want to see what my battery's at, because I don't like just using those little bars. I want to see what the battery percent is at. So if I'm going to do that, I have to go swipe over and hit the EV button. And it loads. And honestly, this display, I know you can see 30% right there. This display works actually pretty well. You know, with climate on, there's my range, like there's climate off, like all the data is still there. It's still showing me the same things that I was seeing before. There's different profiles and stuff now. And what a really nice feature is, so let's say I am, well, here, let's just go back. Let's say I'm here, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done looking at this screen now. I want to go back to the home screen. Well, it used to be when you press the home button, it went to your app menu. And you just didn't get anywhere else. You could press it again and again and again. This was where the home button took you to. Now they've made it where if you press it twice, it goes back to the home screen. So that software bug that the original had, it's fixed now. So now I can be in whatever menu I want to be, and I could be, you know, deep in the heart of whatever option, and then just hit that twice, and it goes back. So that's actually really nice. All in all, I mean, it's, you know, It's definitely a much faster system compared to what it was before. Everything is very responsive. It works very well. It looks modern. You know, the old system did look like it was from 2015. This actually looks like it's a 2025 product. This looks modern enough, updated enough. I mean, it, you know, looks like a Hyundai system. Every brand looks a little different. They treat their ecosystem a little different. I like how Hyundai gives you a lot of the buttons and just options you would want right off the bat. But there's plenty of options that are just not going to work without a Blue Link subscription. And like they have valet mode. That's cool and all. You have to have a Blue Link. Hyundai Pay, again, that's part of the Blue Link thing. I did notice there was some screen burn-in though, with the previous style, the way this was with the 3 individual blocks on the screen. I did notice that we're kind of running into a little bit of screen burn-in where after a little while, you know, if you went to like a different thing, you could see basically everything still on the screen. And so far, I mean, I know the brightness is not up to max. I'm going to take the phone in very close to see if there's any screen burn-in. Mainly up here where the little battery icon used to be. You could see that. I don't see that, but the screen is not at full brightness. So it'll be interesting during the daytime if I notice any sort of screen burn-in. If you have any questions about the update process, you can leave it in the comments. I know that I didn't show you any of the software. This was just kind of a, well, in terms of the software on the computer to do the update. I mean, that is very, very self-explanatory in terms of how to use the software. It walks you through every step. So, but all the buttons still work. You know, I can hit the climate button down there and it pulls up the climate. It doesn't give you the split screen though, which is a little odd. It just gives you some settings real quick. And this doesn't do any, like I can't turn on and off the AC or on and off the heat, or I can't adjust anything about, I can see the climate, but to adjust it, I have to use the physical buttons, which I'm fine with. I like physical buttons. It's just so weird why you don't have functionality in here. It shows you it, like I can change the temperature and it shows it on the display, but I have to physically use the knob, which I don't necessarily mind, but in the event the knob breaks or something, I don't know, why not be able to use the display, you know? That's just offering redundancy. Oh, what they did fix though, now that I think about this, the mode button never worked before. I don't know why. Every time I try to set this button to do a behavior, it never worked with the old software. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. That button does nothing. Even when I go in settings and say, hey, when I click mode, I want you to go back to the Android Auto or back to Bluetooth Media or whatever you can set the mode button to. It never actually worked before. It does work now. So I can hit mode and not actually go to, ooh, it's going to play music. We'll turn that off to avoid probably a copyright. That's interesting how I went to Bluetooth. Oh, maybe I turned the Bluetooth audio on. I had it set to Android Auto. My phone's not plugged in, so it would normally pop up a error message at the top saying like no phone connected or something. But I guess it defaulted to the Bluetooth audio. That's actually not a bad thing, unless maybe I told it to default to Bluetooth instead of Android Auto. I don't really remember what I set it to now. But it works. Before it did not work at all. So that's actually a pretty nice thing that they fixed it. I don't know why. There was a software issue with this car before. It never worked before. It works now. So, great. I guess we'll see what else has changed.